A 5-day closure of the 210 freeway in Irwindale starts tonight for the upgrades on the San Gabriel River Bridge.
All right, we're used to traffic around here. The westbound freeway is going to be closed between Irwindale Avenue and the 605. The eastbound side of the road is going to be split into 3 lanes in each direction.
Yeah, and tonight crews are going to be replacing bridge hinges and some older railings as well. Also upgrading the concrete median and replacing existing storm drainage there on the bridge deck.
Now, Ryan Blackshaw-Vargas spoke to drivers on how it's going to affect their commute and what companies are doing to help employees who rely on that route to get to work.
As you can see, crews are getting ready for that 210 shutdown starting tonight. I'm Ryan Blackshaw-Vargas in Irwindale with details on how commuters are responding to the shutdown. He's behind the wheel every day. Kevin Ewald drives a truck for Shepherd's Pantry. He and his partner, Rudy Martinez, commute between the nonprofit's 4 locations in the San Gabriel Valley. They get food items like fresh milk and produce that they have to get to the over 1,800 families served each month.
Most of the food, because it is a donation from the stores, is about to expire, and so we need to get it distributed as quickly as possible.
That's why he and Rudy are concerned about a portion of the 210 freeway shutting down for just under a week, starting Wednesday.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of traffic, as there is already, and then with the closure, it's just going to add to the confusion. And as you know, LA drivers are not as happy about more traffic.
Caltrans has crews working on upgrading the bridge under the freeway in Irwindale. The 126-hour closure will allow them to make the structure more prepared for earthquakes. Caltrans rep Eric Minhivar says westbound lanes will be closed between Irwindale Avenue and the 605 intersection, so all traffic will be funneled through the eastbound side with 3 lanes for each direction.
We are reducing capacity on this freeway by half, and we are expecting long delays in this area if you travel here. So we encourage people to instead use State Route 60 and Interstate 10.
Commuters can also take the MetroLink or work from home. Janine Edwards of Burbank Water and Power says they are allowing employees to work remotely and avoid the traffic.
Giving them the option to work from home makes the most sense for us and makes the most sense for them.
But for essential workers like those at the food bank, that's not an option. Frances Gillett comes in to serve clients each day. When just 1 lane of the freeway was closed last week, her commute changed drastically.
It normally takes me 10 minutes to get here. It took me 47 minutes to get here. The freeway was just so packed.
Traffic won't stop Eric and Rudy from picking up food and making deliveries. Eric plans to take side streets like Arrow Highway.
If the freeway is that bad, then it'll probably be quicker, I'm hoping.
He'll do what he has to do to get the food to those who need it the most.
Well, you are about to meet Brett Beal. He owns Beal's Texas Barbecue in Huntington Beach. He's currently wearing many hats at his business because of COVID-19, the ensuing labor shortage, of course, and now there's an even bigger issue at hand.
I'm the dishwasher. I take out trash. I take orders. As you will see, I still cook. I prepare food. I do everything here.
My gosh, you guys, how delicious does that look? I can't. Okay, at the half hour of the show here tonight, find out why Mr. Beal is doing so many jobs, what exactly he's looking for, how COVID's affected his workflow, and what's next for his barbecue.
The number of COVID-19 patients hospitalized in LA County surpassed 1,300 today. That is the highest number since mid-February. We're going the wrong direction here. Health officers also reported more than 6,400 new cases and 18 additional deaths. Right now, the county has a nearly 17% positivity rate. The LA County and Long Beach public health departments are expanding eligibility for the monkeypox vaccine. The expansion creates more accessibility to the populations at highest risk and for gay or bisexual men and transgender people. Cases have doubled in LA County over the last week, but officials say the risk to the public is low. A list of requirements and sign-up forms are available on both departments' websites.
Well, it's been nearly a century since Bruce's Beach was stripped away from a black family in Manhattan Beach. But now LA County has officially given the land back to the descendants of Charles and Willa Bruce, with plans to pay the family rent for use of the land. Taylor Tarragona was at the ceremony today, and she explains.
He says he's not an emotional guy, but when this deed to Anthony Bruce's great-great-grandparents' property was placed back into his hands, he felt jubilated.
You get a twinkle in your eye, you get a smile on your face, and you have a purpose in your heart.
What has always been considered a blimp in the family's history is now this celebration. Before 2 years ago, Anthony says no one ever really wanted to talk about it, but they all knew of the injustice that happened here. Charles and Willa Bruce owned a resort on this land, the only place where black people were allowed to enjoy the beach for miles in the Jim Crow era. But they were subject to constant harassment by the Ku Klux Klan and their white neighbors, until eventually the city of Manhattan Beach seized and condemned the property back in 1924. The resort was demolished, and with it, the generational wealth that this family would have accrued by owning the property, now worth an estimated $20 million. Anthony says he takes the bus to work. He lives in an apartment. The money that he'll be given from LA County to lease this land will allow him to chase dreams he never knew would be possible.
Without that wealth, you can't have the same kind of dreams. You're put into a box. You're limited from birth, almost. You're just always going to be in that same situation. And something miraculous happens like this, then of course, your life can change.
And it has, thanks to a protest led by this resident, Kavon Ward, back on Juneteenth of 2020.
Justice for Bruce's Beach!
That is what led Supervisor Janice Hahn to hit the ground running when she found out that the county owned the property that once belonged to the Bruces. She was told then that returning land like this had never been done before.
Today, we're sending a message to every government in this nation confronted with this same challenge. This work is no longer unprecedented.
And it's work that is deeply appreciated, says Anthony Bruce, who instead of a speech named every person involved in the fight to get the land returned. Now they move forward, hoping this sets the standard for others like him across the country.
If it wasn't for a blueprint, when you build a building, you really wouldn't know, you wouldn't have a plan. Now we have a plan of execution.
A plan, a plaque, and a restored path to the wealth the Bruces have always been entitled to.
A model for land reparations right in our backyard. All right, well, petty theft and other crimes in Whittier have been rising since 2020. Coming up, we're going to tell you more about how the city is planning to take that to the ballot.
Hi, everybody. A very happy Wednesday to you. So we still have the inland heat wave going, much cooler at the coast, a good 20 degrees cooler at the coast. Here's a time lapse from Mount Wilson looking toward the east. That's the moon rising late last night, and a lot of high clouds and mid-level clouds came through, made for a very nice sunset early this morning. And then those high clouds continued to stream through as we went through the afternoon hours. Cooling our temperatures just a little bit, but again, it might have not been too noticeable. So at the coast, we're right about average, closer to average, and same deal at the basin. So Manhattan Beach, the forecast high is 74 degrees, and that's largely because of the onshore flow and the marine layer clouds. Irvine, we're a degree above average, a couple degrees above average for Riverside and Lancaster, about 7 degrees above average. So the farther inland you are, the hotter you are, and the more above average you are. And again, it's all because of this big ridge of high pressure that's been sitting over the four corners. When we get that, we get the clockwise rotation around that, and it brings some clouds to us. Sometimes it brings thunderstorms to us, like it did earlier in the week. We had some pretty strong storms, caused some flooding issues. Now we watch this little band of clouds right down there. Those clouds, we'll see them streaming through as we go through tomorrow. So we'll get you through the futurecast. These are clouds that actually went through today. So it'll be kind of the same deal going through tomorrow. So here's 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, or this afternoon, and you'll see those clouds stream on through. Marine layer clouds will start to push into the coast and into the basins for the early morning hours. Maybe a little patchy, dense fog for the early morning hours, maybe a little mist and drizzle. And then as we go through the afternoon hours, you'll see more of those clouds streaming across. And then the coast will start to clear out, and so will the basins. Clouds may hang at some of the beaches, some of those stubborn marine layer clouds. And then by the time we get to Friday morning, again, more in the way of marine layer clouds and less in the way of the high clouds there. So temperatures, our inland temperatures, will start you off here with Van Nuys. So starting off in the 70s with some clouds, and then we'll peak in the low 90s with sunshine. Again, passing high clouds throughout the day. And then a little bit closer to the coast, we'll take you to Downey, clouds in the morning hours, starting off in the 60s. We'll peak in the 80s with more sunshine. And then closer to the coast, of course, we'll take you to Hermosa Beach, where we've got middle 60s with cloudy skies and some patchy fog. Temperatures there will peak in the low 70s, and again, some passing high clouds as well, and some mid and upper level clouds as we go through the afternoon hours. All right, here's your 7-day forecast for the coast. So 70s, mid 70s all the way until Monday, and then we go down to low 70s Tuesday and Wednesday. For the basins, we go mid 80s to low 80s to upper 70s, and then upper 70s all the way through most of next week. And then for the valleys, we're looking at middle 90s and 3 days of about 93. And then we get down to 90 Monday, Tuesday, which is actually a little bit below average. And then for the Inland Empire, we're looking at middle 90s all the way down to low 90s.
A few people broke into a Chanel store in the Beverly Grove area overnight. As many as 8 suspects in 3 vehicles drove away with merchandise, according to the LAPD. Officials say they used a car to crash into the storefront. Call Crime Stoppers Anonymous if you have any information on this. And there are a couple of new additions to Disney's Aspire education plan. Cal State Fullerton and Fullerton College are now part of Disney's career development program that offers 100% tuition paid upfront for hourly employees. Almost 30,000 cast members are eligible to participate in Aspire. With the 2 new additions come 70 more degree offerings. You can go to aspire.disney.com if you're an interested employee. Your politics tonight is in Whittier, where city officials want to prosecute misdemeanor cases within their own city limits. They say hundreds of cases are passing through the LA County District Attorney's Office without prosecution. Taylor Torregano is back to break down the political implications of that type of systemic shift.
The city of Whittier may soon be prosecuting its own misdemeanors after concerns over a significant spike in crime. I'm Taylor Torregano at City Hall with why the mayor says it's time to find a solution for this ongoing issue.
Good size portion where it's just kids only.
He's like a kid in a candy store. After more than a year under renovation, Mayor Joe Vinatieri proudly shows off Whittier's new and improved public library that'll soon be filled with kids enrolled in several summer programs.
We have a summer reading program here that I was in when I was a kid.
It's a pride he takes in the city he grew up in, and Vinatieri says his first priority is ensuring Whittier is a safe place to raise a family, which is why he wants to start prosecuting misdemeanors within city limits. He says there's been a significant increase in petty theft and other crimes here since December of 2020, when District Attorney George Gascon launched a directive to stop filing charges for low-level misdemeanors.
It's been very difficult for us. We've had over 700 arrests for misdemeanors since that point in time.
They're crimes like trespassing, drug possession, and public intoxication that Mayor Vinatieri acknowledges may not be too egregious, but still affect the quality of life in Whittier and make residents feel unsafe. He says more and more often the city is fielding calls with complaints about the same group of repeat offenders who break one of these laws, get arrested, and are released hours later.
A lot of them just, they need help. But the problem is that it used to be if they got prosecuted, they go in front of the judge. The judge would generally say, okay, look, we can put you in diversion, or we can get you into some kind of rehabilitation program to help you, or you can choose to go to jail.
Now, Mayor Vinatieri says these cases don't even get to a judge, which is why he and the city council are discussing whether or not to have a special election in November that would ask voters if they want the city attorney to prosecute the misdemeanors within city limits. DA Gascon has said he doesn't prosecute these types of crimes because they often have lasting consequences that can haunt a person for life. His office told us he wasn't available for an interview, but did send this statement saying, quote, "Whittier does not have the infrastructure nor the resources to adequately and efficiently handle criminal cases. Having our office handle these cases would result in better outcomes that advance public safety." The mayor says while they're still discussing all of the details, he disagrees with the DA, saying they do have the manpower to do this. It'll just come down to if they should allocate the money and resources.
It's a very real issue for us, and we'll do whatever else we need to do that's right and lawful to take care of our people.
Now they just need to determine at what cost.
Time now for a look at what's happening in our community. Brought to you by the law offices of Jacob Emrani and your team at calljacob.com.
Now for weather on the ones, if you're heading to the beach, water temperatures are now starting to warm up. Earlier in the week and last week, we were in the 60s. Now we're generally in the low 70s, so starting to feel a little more comfortable and more summer-like. Air temperatures generally in the 70s up and down the coast, but be careful. There's a high risk of rip currents. There is a high surf advisory in place, so Ventura County beaches 3 to 6 feet. Same with Los Angeles County, and 4 to 8 down in Orange and San Diego counties.
All right, turning to some entertainment headlines now. The film industry might be returning to normal as production returns to those pre-pandemic numbers within the year. Yeah, so production's expected to kind of go back to those levels thanks to increased efforts to protect the workers there on sets. Local organization Film LA reported more than 9,200 shoot days of location production from April through the month of June. Feature films saw a 9% increase in shoot days compared to last year, which fell below 16% of its 5-year average. Well, it looks like everybody's going to be saying Nope. Seeing the film Nope this weekend. Director Jordan Peele's newest horror movie is projected to make up to $55 million at the box office for all you scary movie fans. Nope's going to be following Peele's hit films, of course, Get Out and Us. Both films made about $255 million at the global box office back in 2017 and then 2019. Nope opens in theaters this Friday. And the Game of Thrones universe is back for all of you fans. HBO released the first ever trailer of the new spin-off House of the Dragon. The prequel set 150 years before the original show, and it'll follow the Targaryen family and their roots. Game of Thrones was one of HBO's most popular series, averaging over 12 million viewers in its final season. This series premieres August 21st.
Meet the Donut Kids generation, as they call it. This is the second generation of Cambodian families now running their famous donut shops. Some of them say they're just sick of all the sweets, but not tired of continuing the rich history and the legacy.
For the whole community, we didn't have our history written in the books or anything, so this is kind of our little stamp in the history book.
For our last call segment on your evening, we are headed to Koreatown for some Cambodian donuts. Find out how this generation is taking the business into 2022 with a new twist on tradition. In LA, the water department is making history. The first known Native American commissioner was just sworn in as part of an all-female board. Ryan Blacksher-Vargas is back for a conversation with the commissioner during her first tour of an LADWP facility.
LA Department of Water and Power has a new board member. I'm Ryan Blacksher-Vargas at a DWP facility in Granada Hills, and I'll introduce you to that new member who is also the first Native member to join the board. Millions of these black shade balls cover and protect the water inside the Los Angeles Reservoir. 5 women are also tasked with protecting that water as LADWP board members. The newest member is Cynthia Ruiz.
For me, being a Native in my culture, water is sacred. Water is life.
As a member of the Cherokee Nation, she is the first known Native American to serve on the board during its 122-year history. The lifelong Angelino grew up with her Mexican father and Native mother. Her mother served on the LA City County Native American Indian Commission for over 20 years. Cynthia's also been a public servant, having served at Public Works and the Port of LA. Now she's bringing her experience and cultural respect for the earth to her new role.
We pray above to the Creator. We pray below to connect with Mother Earth, and then we pray center so we have an understanding that we're connected to everything.
Her historic appointment should be just the start, says Alexandra Valdez, Executive Director of the Native American Indian Commission.
Indigenous people have so much to offer and so many solutions that have been around since time immemorial to get us out of huge crises we're facing. And so I think it's just incredible that what we're seeing here in the city, and to me, should be the beginning point, and hopefully it will be.
As Cynthia toured the DWP facility in Granada Hills for the first time, she said her top priority is educating residents about the need to conserve water and how to do it. She's also focused on power and hitting DWP's goal of 100% renewable energy by 2035.
Come on, we're in Southern California. Look at this beautiful sun. We should be using this natural resource.
Restoring public trust in the department is also top of mind after a former head of DWP was sentenced to 6 years in prison for accepting bribes.
The question when, as a resident, that I asked myself is, where was the oversight? And so I want to make sure that we have policy and procedures in place to hold people accountable.
She also wants Angelenos to be accountable to each other and be united in protecting precious resources.
All right, that upbeat music is going to let you know that it was an interesting day on Wall Street, a second straight day where all three indices gained. We're seeing the likings of a corporate earnings session that some people are thinking is a turning point for what has been historically pessimistic consumer sentiment. That's right, these earnings are suggesting that maybe a recession isn't necessarily coming. That counts for good news on Wall Street, so you see all three indices go up. And you also saw big tech benefiting from that because people were like, hey, maybe it's time to get a little riskier with our investments. Also, consumer discretionary went up, and Netflix was a big winner, 7.4% up after saying it lost fewer subscribers than expected and will actually add some next quarter. We'll have to see about all that. Also, something we'll have to see about is tonight's original programming lineup. We got some good stuff going for you tonight, 7 p.m. LA Times Today with Lisa McCree. At 8, it is Inside the Issues with Alex Cohen. At 9, come on back from Beyond the Sport. And then at 9:30, I'll have more headlines for you. We'll be telling you all you need to know about tonight and get you ready for tomorrow's news day. Stay with us. We got more coming up.
Staffing shortages are still impacting local restaurants. I'm Jana Montemorano, and coming up, hear from one owner who says it's been difficult to hire new employees.
Time now for weather on the ones. If you're heading to the beach, water temperatures are now starting to warm up. Earlier in the week and last week, we were in the 60s. Now we're generally in the low 70s, so starting to feel a little more comfortable and more summer-like. Air temperatures generally in the 70s up and down the coast, but be careful. There's a high risk of rip currents. There is a high surf advisory in place, so Ventura County beaches 3 to 6 feet. Same with Los Angeles County, and 4 to 8 down in Orange and San Diego counties.
All right, turning to some entertainment headlines now. The film industry might be returning to normal as production returns to those pre-pandemic numbers within the year. Yeah, so production's expected to kind of go back to those levels thanks to increased efforts to protect the workers there on sets. Local organization Film LA reported more than 9,200 shoot days of location production from April through the month of June. Feature films saw a 9% increase in shoot days compared to last year, which fell below 16% of its 5-year average. Well, it looks like everybody's going to be saying Nope. Seeing the film Nope this weekend. Director Jordan Peele's newest horror movie is projected to make up to $55 million at the box office for all you scary movie fans. Nope's going to be following Peele's hit films, of course, Get Out and Us. Both films made about $255 million at the global box office back in 2017 and then 2019. Nope opens in theaters this Friday. And the Game of Thrones universe is back for all of you fans. HBO released the first ever trailer of the new spin-off House of the Dragon. The prequel set 150 years before the original show, and it'll follow the Targaryen family and their roots. Game of Thrones was one of HBO's most popular series, averaging over 12 million viewers in its final season. This series premieres August 21st.
Meet the Donut Kids generation, as they call it. This is the second generation of Cambodian families now running their famous donut shops. Some of them say they're just sick of all the sweets, but not tired of continuing the rich history and the legacy.
For the whole community, we didn't have our history written in the books or anything, so this is kind of our little stamp in the history book.
For our last call segment on your evening, we are headed to Koreatown for some Cambodian donuts. Find out how this generation is taking the business into 2022 with a new twist on tradition. In LA, the water department is making history. The first known Native American commissioner was just sworn in as part of an all-female board. Ryan Blacksher-Vargas is back for a conversation with the commissioner during her first tour of an LADWP facility.
LA Department of Water and Power has a new board member. I'm Ryan Blacksher-Vargas at a DWP facility in Granada Hills, and I'll introduce you to that new member who is also the first Native member to join the board. Millions of these black shade balls cover and protect the water inside the Los Angeles reservoir. 5 women are also tasked with protecting that water as LADWP board members. The newest member is Cynthia Ruiz.
For me, being a native in my culture, water is sacred. Water is life.
As a member of the Cherokee Nation, she is the first known Native American to serve on the board during its 122-year history. The lifelong Angelino grew up with her Mexican father and Native mother. Her mother served on the LA City County Native American Indian Commission for over 20 years. Cynthia's also been a public servant, having served at Public Works and the Port of LA. Now she's bringing her experience and cultural respect for the earth to her new role.
We pray above to the Creator. We pray below to connect with Mother Earth, and then we pray center so we have an understanding that we're connected to everything.
Her historic appointment should be just the start, says Alexandra Valdez, Executive Director of the Native American Indian Commission.
Indigenous people have so much to offer and so many solutions that have been around since time immemorial to get us out of huge crises we're facing. And so I think it's just incredible that what we're seeing here in the city, and to me, should be the beginning point, and hopefully it will be.
As Cynthia toured the DWP facility in Granada Hills for the first time, she said her top priority is educating residents about the need to conserve water and how to do it. She's also focused on power and hitting DWP's goal of 100% renewable energy by 2035.
Come on, we're in Southern California. Look at this beautiful sun. We should be using this natural resource.
Restoring public trust in the department is also top of mind after a former head of DWP was sentenced to 6 years in prison for accepting bribes.
The question as a resident that I ask myself is, where was the oversight? And so I want to make sure that we have policy and procedures in place to hold people accountable.
She also wants Angelinos to be accountable to each other and be united in protecting precious resources.
All right, that upbeat music is going to let you know that it was an interesting day on Wall Street, a second straight day where all 3 indices gained. We're seeing the likings of a corporate earnings session that some people are thinking is a turning point for what has been historically pessimistic consumer sentiment. That's right, these earnings are suggesting that maybe a recession isn't necessarily coming. That counts for good news on Wall Street, so you see all 3 indices go up. And you also saw big tech benefiting from that because people were like, hey, maybe it's time to get a little riskier with our investments. Also, consumer discretionary went up, and Netflix was a big winner, 7.4% up after saying it lost fewer subscribers than expected and will actually add some next quarter. We'll have to see about all that. Also, something we'll have to see about is tonight's original programming lineup. We got some good stuff going for you tonight, 7 p.m. LA Times Today with Lisa McCree. At 8, it is Inside the Issues with Alex Cohen. At 9, come on back from Beyond the Sport. And then at 9:30, I'll have more headlines for you. We'll be telling you all you need to know about tonight and get you ready for tomorrow's news day. Stay with us. We got more coming up.
Staffing shortages are still impacting local restaurants. I'm Jana Montemorano, and coming up, hear from one owner who says it's been difficult to hire new employees.
We've now reached the halfway point on your evening, and tonight we're talking about the ongoing difficulty many businesses are having hiring and retaining workers since the onset of the pandemic. The labor force participation rate is getting a little better. That means more people are actively seeking employment, but the restaurant business isn't really seeing that. Jada Montemorano explains why.
Local restaurants are still dealing with staffing shortages since the pandemic. I'm Jada Montemorano in Huntington Beach, where one owner used a recent grant to give bonuses to his employees as a thank you. You may not expect to find the owner of Beal's Texas Barbecue, Brett Beal, still in the kitchen slicing brisket, but it's an all-hands-on-deck situation at his restaurant.
I'm the dishwasher. I take out trash. I take orders. As you will see, I still cook. I prepare food. I do everything here.
Ever since the pandemic began, Beal's and most restaurants in SoCal have been experiencing a labor shortage. At first, Brett says employees stayed home due to the fear of catching COVID. But even 2 years later, it's hard to hire and even retain good staff.
The employment pool definitely shrank. I'm here every day, 7 days a week. We would like to increase our hours to keep up with the demand, but being short-staffed makes it very difficult.
According to the National Restaurant Association, full-service restaurant staffing suffered the most job losses in the first few months of the pandemic. And as of May 2022, staffing levels are still below pre-pandemic numbers. Brett feels this could be due to the unemployment government assistance or even the difficulty of keeping up with wages that larger corporations could offer.
It is very hard to compete against larger businesses, or shall I say chains or anything of that nature. So when you have that situation, it's just very difficult. So our pool even shrank even more.
This is why any help is appreciated. And Brett received a $3,000 grant from the California Restaurant Foundation's Restaurants Care Resilience Fund in partnership with state energy companies and Wells Fargo. He used this assistance to fix equipment and give bonuses to the staff.
I can say thank you for working hard and everything else, but let's face fact. You give somebody some money and say, hey, this is what I can offer you right now. I just want to give back whatever I can.
Manager Rashawn Lacey, who says he's been a bartender, host, waiter, cook, and more, received this bonus and says, is it really work when you're doing what you love, but appreciates any extra incentive.
So I'm very, very blessed and grateful for that. We have a very, very dedicated small team here. So to get that little extra, I'm sure it just boosted up their morale. It just made them just maybe even work even harder from good to great.
And Brett hopes he can hire more employees soon.
Please be patient with us. It is very challenging.
Be patient and support local as our small business owners are still dealing with impacts of the pandemic.
Do I need to say that looks spectacular? No? I don't? Okay. Hey, across California, as some concert hosts and event organizers loosen COVID-19 protocol, Comic-Con in San Diego is keeping its masking policy. Bree Stephan checked in with some fans who aren't really all that upset about the rule.
Show no mercy. Reading comic books was a huge part of growing up for Tara Saletti.
Lady Death, absolutely nobody messed with her. Made me want to also grow up to be kind of grown up and be a badass when I grew up too.
That childhood love carried over into adulthood. She tried for years to get tickets to go to San Diego Comic-Con and finally won the lottery in 2020.
And it's like, ding, 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 you get it, you win. And then COVID happens and the whole world stops. I guess they're featuring the Lord of the Rings.
For the first time in 3 years, Comic-Con is back in full force. Tara can't believe she is finally holding her passes.
It's like getting the golden ticket.
COVID-19 safety requirements have grown steadily less strict around the U.S., but Comic-Con organizers are embracing the safeguards. They will require everyone who attends to wear a mask and have proof of vaccination or a recent negative test result. Protocols that make Tara feel safe.
14 years ago, I myself was a recipient of a kidney transplant, so I am immunocompromised. So I also appreciate the fact that I will be there and I will be fully protected.
Marin Docherty works at the San Diego Convention Center and says they're estimating more than 135,000 people will attend, desperate to get back to the iconic event.
Even throughout the pandemic, we had Comic-Con fans who were coming down to our building, nostalgic for the experiences that they had.
She says it's up to event organizers to implement safety protocols they believe will keep everyone safe during large events. And she can't wait to see the building come alive once again.
These escalators during Comic-Con fill up with people wearing costumes representing all sorts of TV shows and comic books and movies, and that is something that makes this event so special.
I love Sandman so much.
Tara is looking forward to getting more autographs from the people who shaped her childhood in a way that protects everyone.
Your favorite artists who are signing your comics may be elderly and maybe immunocompromised, and you got to think about them too, and not just about yourself. You got to think about them.
A small trade to get a priceless experience back.
Well, Alex Cohen has the political angle now of Comic-Con 2022. Here's part of why the sci-fi fair historically attracts more than 100,000 fans every year from all over the world.
Hi there. Multiple global health crises, inflation and a possible recession, climate change, war in Ukraine. The list of real-life maladies seems endless these days. Little surprising that so many people are more than ready to flock to the annual convention known as Comic-Con, something I spoke about with Mike Rowe of KPCC and LAist.
This is going to be the first time folks are getting back in person. They've done a couple of smaller events since the vaccines have come out, but this is going to be the first full Comic-Con in 3 years. Normally draws more than 100,000 people. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like when everybody's back together and trying to do so safely.
More of my conversation with Mike Rowe, plus LA Police Chief Michael Moore is with us to discuss how his officers treated journalists covering protests in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision on reproductive rights. Do join us tonight on Inside the Issues.
All right, we look forward to that. Thank you, Alex. And tomorrow night, please join us for special coverage during your evening. Our national team's going to take over with some analysis on what committee aides are saying is the last January 6th hearing until at least the fall. We're going to carry the entire session live with commentary from local experts across the country. We expect to hear from some interesting witnesses as the committee talks about the 187 minutes from when the insurrection began and President Trump had something to say. Stay with us.
Time now for weather on the one. So again, the inland heat wave continues. It's been several days of a lot of heat, and the heat is only going to stick around for a few more days before we start to cool things down. This is Pasadena, where we'll stay in the 90s, upper 80s and low 90s until Sunday. And then a trough of low pressure comes by and cools us down to below average Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And about a good 15 to 20 degrees cooler over at the coast, where we'll peak at Santa Monica in the low 70s until we cool a few degrees heading into Tuesday and Wednesday when we get right around 71 degrees. And we'll also increase that onshore flow. Again, all that heat is because we've got this ridge of high pressure. As it sits over the four corners, it spins a lot of moisture and clouds toward us. That's why we had the thunderstorms earlier in the week. Today we had a lot of clouds in the mix. Tomorrow we'll have a lot of clouds in the mix as well. But after Sunday, this ridge of high pressure starts to scoot over to the east, and a little low area pressure kind of comes up from the south and right next to California. That'll help cool things down for Wednesday, Thursday, and then into Friday. And then after that, here comes another ridge of high pressure coming through, and that'll actually begin to heat us right back up to temperatures above average. All right, our overnight lows, 60s pretty much on the west side of the mountains, with the exception of Santa Clarita at 70 and Santa Barbara at 59. Up in the high deserts, we're looking at middle 70s for the overnight lows. And not cooling down at all, Palm Springs, 87, the overnight low. Tomorrow afternoon, they'll have to get a little hotter there, about 115 out in the Coachella Valley. We'll get to that in a moment. So over on the Ventura Coast, low 70s for highs. Fillmore goes to 91, Santa Clarita 98, Pasadena 91 degrees. And then as we make our way south, Santa Monica Bay, middle 70s, a little farther inland, downtown LA goes to 83, 86 for Downey. La Mirada goes to about 85 degrees. And then here we see Morongo 102, Palm Springs 114, so super hot out there. San Bernardino pushes 100 degrees, out toward Norwalk 84 degrees. And then as we make our way south down toward San Diego County, beaches middle 70s, inland San Diego 80s, up to Temecula about 91 degrees and 79 for Irvine. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. We'll start you here off at the mountain. So the monsoon flow shuts off here for the next couple days. Only a 10% chance on a Friday. That's not much. They come back again on Sunday with another 10% chance, but better chances Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday is looking the best chances for thunderstorms. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, low 100s, slowly cooling it down on Monday, upper 90s, and then we get right about down to average on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then our last stop here for the Coachella Valley, we go 114 for Thursday, 115 for Friday. Heat advisories there for the next couple days there. And then we finally get below average there beginning on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and right about there on Wednesday. That's your weather on the ones.
LA County juvenile halls are reportedly failing to provide camera footage and failing to submit use of force reports on time. This is according to the Office of the Inspector General. The inspection comes as a result of numerous cases of inappropriate use of force reported last year. More relief at the pump for commuters as gas prices in SoCal continue to go down. LA County's average price is $5.90 a gallon. In San Bernardino County, drivers will pay $5.85. And then in OC, prices are just 5 cents less. And Palm Springs International Airport broke another passenger count record for the month of June. So it marked the 4th consecutive month of record numbers with a total of over 140,000 passengers. That surpasses last year's June record by almost 10%. Things that many of us may take for granted can be very difficult to even access for the homeless. For example, taking a shower. But one organization in Venice is offering people a clean, safe space to do just that. Renee Ng joins us now in studio to tell us more. What a great resource for the unhoused.
Yeah, especially for those, it's not really easy to get a shower and get clean, especially when you're living out on the streets. And for a lot of us, a shower is really part of a daily routine that we probably don't give much thought to. But for someone who is unhoused, it can make all the difference in the world. And there's a small business owner I met in Venice who is rallying her community to make a difference one shower at a time. Take a look.
Every Thursday morning in Venice, you can hear Rachel Sunday on her bullhorn.
Shower up, we have 2 open. We are looking for Naomi.
She's calling for the next person in line to take a shower, free of charge to anyone experiencing homelessness in Venice Beach.
They don't have any privacy out here, so I tell them they can take a 15-minute poop, they can take a 15-minute shower, they can take a 15-minute nap. We don't care what they do.
Sunday does all of this through her nonprofit called Power of a Shower, and it's a family effort with her husband and daughter helping out. Sunday never imagined she would be doing this type of work. Born and raised in LA, she used to be a nurse and is currently a health insurance broker, but she also felt an itch to help her community.
Just one thing, when I thought about the showers, I wanted to do something completely politically agnostic, and everybody can get on board with people being clean.
So she started volunteering with an accelerator organization called Lavame, which provides training and funding to those who want to bring mobile showers to the unhoused. The group has launched over 40 free shower programs in 5 countries since 2017. Sunday says she and her husband learned everything: how to manage a shower list, maintain the trailer, replace a pump.
When they take a shower, they are offered body wash or bar soap, shampoo, conditioner, lotion, razor, toothbrush, toothpaste, Q-tips.
Sunday added amenities such as washcloths, clean underwear, socks, and gently worn clothing. She budgets $15,000 annually to run the showers, and they've provided over $5,700 since launching 4 years ago. For regulars like this man, who goes by the name OG, he says a good scrub gives him dignity and confidence, especially after living on and off the streets for years and selling items on the Venice boardwalk.
It's the difference between doing something in the day productive and not doing something in the day productive. Imagine getting up and going to work and not being able to shower for a couple weeks and then having to go to work.
OG says a shower can be hard to come by for the unhoused, which is over 66,000 people, according to the 2020 Greater Los Angeles homeless count. Sunday provides up to 30 showers each week, but even if it's a small number, it can make a big difference. She hopes others will take the initiative to find their own way to help the homeless.
People like us that just want people to feel better mentally, physically, all the way around.
And it all starts with a shower.
Time now for weather on the ones. The All-Star break is ending tomorrow, so they have the day off today. And guess who's coming to town? The Giants are coming to Dodger Stadium on Thursday. First pitch at 7:09. It'll be nice and comfortable with temperatures in the low 70s. They'll cool down by about 6 or so degrees by 9 o'clock for that 7th inning stretch. And then by the game's end there, if they don't go into extra innings, temperatures in the middle 60s. That is your weather on the ones.
Before you start anything, we were having this huge conversation about hot sauce. We're like, hot sauce crazy around here, but
Yes, we were. And Chris was saying he loves Tabasco, which is a great classic. It's a staple.
It's a classic, just
I'm
like me.
I'm a hot sauce explorationist, but Tabasco stays in the refrigerator. You know, businesses all over are dealing with supply and demand issues, and of course, hot sauces are amongst them, Chris.
Yes, it's a really hot commodity, all right? Now, listen to this. The brand Sriracha, maybe you've heard of that, that's suspended production because of a shortage of chili peppers. Huifeng Foods says it's because weather conditions are affecting the quality of the chili pepper.
Well, Rachel Manitoff shows us how LA restaurants are compensating for the shortage. Maybe get a little tapatio.
That'd be nice. That's another one.
More spicy.
Turning up the heat with her secret sauce. Chef Wen Lei, owner of Bayu Vietnamese Kitchen, is serving up street and comfort food.
So food that you might only find at home with the Vietnamese family.
Her signature spice comes from sriracha sauce. But right now, there's a shortage.
I started noticing it more in early June when we would order from our vendors who typically could get us cases, and I was getting single bottles at $10 a piece from the vendors.
The manufacturer announced why. Weather conditions are creating a severe shortage in the chilies, and they're not able to produce any of their popular red sauce until at least September. High temperatures and extreme drought completely destroyed most of the crops grown in northern Mexico, says Dr. Grace Sosich, a professor at USC's Marshall School of Business.
It's not that we can say 100% that it is caused by climate change, but definitely, you know, having these changes, increasing temperature is definitely not helping. And if we continue this way, we can only expect things to get even worse than they are now.
Chef Lei relies on about 300 of these bottles to get her through the year.
You know, as the chef of the restaurant as well as the owner, I just found it to be like the right balance for that specific spicy aioli sauce.
There we go, we're set.
So her team put out a call on social media asking customers to scour their neighborhood stores for a bottle of sriracha in exchange for an item on her menu.
Some of the sriracha, these are the ones that our guests have brought.
She says the response was overwhelming.
Over here are the coupons we're giving out to folks.
She got enough sriracha to last her for the next 6 months, but she realizes this could be an ongoing problem.
And so this might be a longer lasting shortage than maybe some of the other supply chain issues that restaurants have been dealing with.
Until then, Chef Lei is keeping her food for sauce exchange going, and that's her answer to the sriracha shortage.
Gosh, sriracha, I'm obsessed. Okay, guys, it's the end of our show on this Wednesday night. Time for last call on your evening, kind of when our collective hunger all kicks in here on our news team. Well, tonight, Natalie Basha has a story on Cambodian donuts. She's in Koreatown for last call.
Donut shops around Southern California have famously been run by Cambodian families. I'm Natalie Basha in Koreatown. We're now the second generation, called the Donut Kids generation. They're taking over those family businesses and continuing that rich legacy. After spending her entire life in a donut shop, Danette Cooch has actually become sick of eating donuts.
I am very sick of them. I mean, I've grown up with them, so I usually only eat them if I'm trying to try the new flavors.
But not sick of working with them.
Hello.
Danette is the second-generation owner of California Donuts, a now famous shop in Koreatown that her parents started.
As we got older and we have our own families and we're just kind of reflecting, I think we're seeing that we're creating a legacy for our family.
During the 1970s, thousands and thousands of Cambodians fled the brutal Khmer Rouge regime with just the clothes on their backs. Many of them landed here in Southern California, and most of those that did went into the donut business. In fact, the California Sunday magazine estimated that there are over 1,500 Cambodian-run donut shops in the state.
And also, too, for the whole community. We didn't have our history written in the books or anything. So this is kind of our little stamp in the history book.
What started as a humble, no-frills donut shop has today amassed over 350,000 Instagram followers and rakes in major partnerships with companies like Disney, thanks to Danette's vision for building upon the work of her parents. In Santa Monica, Jenny Lee's family recently bought DK's Donuts from the original owners, but she too is part of that second generation of donut kids.
You can't help but be thankful and just be proud of them for everything they've overcome, like how resilient they are.
And she's trying new things to bring the business into 2022.
You trained me, like I'm gonna do my best to do it like you did, but we're gonna add all these other aspects, like we're gonna, you know, there's third-party delivery now, there's custom orders, there's social media.
And Jenny says so far, she's proving to her parents that her generation can continue the donut legacy. As for Danette, her 13-year-old daughter, Angelina, who is the third generation,
This one? So 4 of those, yeah.
already has an eye on taking over the business.
I feel like I want to take over it so I can keep the generation so it keeps going.
For the first-generation Cambodian immigrants, donuts were just a way to survive. But Danette and her generation are building it into legacy businesses that thrive.
And this industry, the Cambodian donut industry, you guys, was started by a man named Ted Noy, who opened the first shop actually in Orange County back in the 70s. Isn't that neat? Started right here in SoCal.
A little hot sauce, that'd be perfect. Am I right? I'm not thinking.
Looks
delicious. Happy
I think
donuts.
there are jalapeno donuts.
Oh, really?
I've seen them.
I bet there are.
Jalapeno bacon.